On. This is Jamie Dawn. Yes, I know. You probably have forgotten what I even sound and look like because it's been a little while since I have done a video. I am an evolutionary, revolutionary astrologer, and this is a celestial wisdom, energetic, astrological update for the next 10 to 14 days. I happen to be recording this still during a Mercury retrograde. We'll see what happens technologically. But it is on the 6th of August. And the thing that we're already experiencing is Venus in Cancer. So I'm going to talk about that because she's going to be in Cancer for another couple of weeks. But also, Mars is about to move into Libra. So I want to talk about that. And we've got about 2 months or so with Mars in Libra. So we'll have some plenty of time to experience this desire for peace and harmony and relationships being politically correct and all and aesthetically pleasing. And then we also have a full moon in Aquarius that happens this weekend on Friday into Saturday morning. So that's another big news, if you will. It happens every month, of course, our new and full moons. But this one in particular is setting us up for an eclipse that is coming in 2 weeks. So we have our new moon eclipse in Virgo, and that's going to, remember, eclipses we can feel anywhere from a month before to a month after. Oftentimes, events don't usually happen exactly on the eclipse. So I'm paying attention to this full moon in particular because I think it's going to set the stage for some of the themes of this full moon, or excuse me, the eclipse. Also, on Friday at the full moon, very auspicious, is this grand water or grand air trine, excuse me, that's happening, as well as we have, and the grand air trine is happening between Uranus, Pluto, and Mars. And we also, and of course, the moon, the sun and moon being in Aquarius. So, but we also have the Lionsgate portal. That's on August 8th. That happens on Friday. And so, those of you who feel it spiritually, energetically, there could be a lot of what we may call ascension. I don't like the word sickness. We're going to say ascension integration, that and stirring up transformation, transmutation, that from downloads from the high vibration of the energy. It can be very subtle, or it can just feel like it totally takes you down and you need to have some respite. So if you don't have any carved out time for that, to be able to receive those downloads and integrate them, see if you can create some time or give yourself permission to go, I'm going to feel wonky today, and it's okay. Some people, though, actually feel really energized during the Lionsgate portal. So I just want to put that pin on the map. And then, of course, the other thing is that we are in the last stages of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury will go direct on the 10th. That's only a few more days away, right after this full moon. So, of course, we know when a planet's retrograde, it takes a little bit of time. It's like getting up from a nap, right? You kind of need a moment to reorient yourself, and maybe you fumble around into the kitchen to find that cup of coffee or water or whatever it is that energizes you after a nap. It just takes you a minute to kind of reorient. So we'll have a few days of that with Mercury. But we know that when Mercury goes direct again, things start moving a lot faster. We're revisiting themes from the end of July into, really end of June, all the way through July and into the 1st of August. So there may be some themes that have risen for you that you get to address. I do have to tell you a funny story. So I'm going to I'll offer this. I don't know how long this video is actually going to be. I have all these wonderful things that I want to talk about, but I want to share a very real Mercury retrograde example. So my beloved sold a car a year ago for his son, and his son bought a new truck and all that good stuff with it. And the person that he sold the car to, never registered the car. And I get a call from my beloved last week while I was gone at mystery school that the person he sold it to is now selling the car to somebody else, but couldn't register it because his name was still on the title because the person he sold it to never registered the car with DMV. So Now my beloved has to go through the whole process of getting the title transferred and all of that. So I just thought that was a very poignant and clear example of a Mercury retrograde where things get revisited, things from our past come back to us. And it's interesting that that this particular buying and selling of the car and his son buying a vehicle and all that in the process was during a Mercury retrograde. So saying that to say not everything is as it appears to be. If there are things, though, that again, that you're percolating or that have been kind of running in the background, maybe this is where the past can serve you to wrap things up during a Mercury retrograde. Maybe there's certain conversations that you're going to be having because you're finally ready to deal with some things of the past. Just be aware that if it's a conversation that you need a lot of space and grace, that your messaging may not get received well, maybe it gets misinterpreted, or the two of you or you and the group, whatever, however you're delivering the messaging, you just might need to revisit it a couple of times. It may not be a one and done kind of situation. In particular, don't take it personally. Keep your sense of humor, all those wonderful Mercury retrograde survival things. The other thing, so I mentioned Venus is in Cancer now. She moved into Cancer a week and a half ago from when I was recording this. And because I have been gone at mystery school for the last 2 weeks, getting a video done just wasn't conducive to what for the timing that I had. So thank you for your patience. Thank you, Joan, my assistant, who continues to post new and full moon memes. And I did a Uranus and Gemini by sign posting as well on social media and updates on that. So check back on those, because especially the Uranus and Gemini, we got 7 years of Uranus and Gemini. So plenty of time to work with that one, right? But pay attention. I'll have some full moon memes posted by sign also in the next couple of days. Now, Venus in Cancer, we're looking at nurturing love and emotional depth. When you have the planet of relationship, love, beauty, harmony in the nurturing, homebody, intuitive sign of Cancer. So here we are. We're going to feel all nice, touchy feely when it comes to Venus in Cancer. And so when it comes to our love and relationships, we're going to be craving more emotional intimacy. And that can really drive us when it comes to looking at our relationship, saying, do I feel safe here? Do I feel like we're really deeply connected? It's a place also, have I created a safe space to be able to let people communicate with me how they feel? And are they safe to do that? And maybe we go through great lengths to nurture and care for those individuals that we have close relationships with. Often displays of affection when Venus is in Cancer. There's acts of service and there's home cooked meals. Cancer loves food because it brings comfort and security. We like to create comfortable and inviting environments during this time. So just notice if maybe you feel a little more homebody-ish as well. And the things that you probably value most that may be coming up right now in your conversation topics have everything to do with, family, tradition, a sense of belonging, and allowing yourself that time to even get nostalgic now and again. And really, now that with Mercury in retrograde pattern, that's also a time that we may be revisiting some of those issues where we're looking at, hey, maybe I've neglected my family a little too much and I need to reset that. And maybe I've given up or sacrificed too much. And they're part of the collateral damage. So that'll be interesting if that's something that we're also going to be looking at. But I would say that Venus in Cancer has its challenges as well, where we can become a little too emotionally sensitive, where we take things personally, we get defensive. That, of course, can lead to power struggles. It can lead to shutting down or lashing out. We may also struggle from setting healthy boundaries because we crave that connection and that security so much that we may decide to say yes to everything because we're afraid that if we say no, we'll run into a sense of abandonment, which then triggers that I don't belong, right? Watch out too for some long suffering. So if you've been in a toxic relationship, this is a time where you may look at it and say, okay, I really am being long suffering here and hanging on to something, resuscitating something that probably should be let go. So the full moon in Aquarius may help you with that, because if you're in that situation like that, the full moon in Aquarius can give you this objective view, because Aquarius doesn't work with the emotional body as much as the intellectual. It's an air sign. And with it being a full moon, we're releasing and letting go. But Aquarius is very good about just the facts and being objective. And then we have Mars in Libra, a fellow air sign, also offering some diplomacy, some grace. So that can help some of our tough conversations that we may need to have in the next couple of weeks. So keep that in mind. If you've started a conversation lately, or you feel like one is bubbling under the surface, try not to overthink it. You want to have your thoughts organized, but remember, stay flexible and fluid and play the observer. If you were standing on the outside of the situation, looking at it objectively, what would you need to create some grace and diplomacy? Because Mars in Libra wants to create a win-win situation. And that's ultimately probably what you're looking for in your relationships anyways. We're looking at balance. We're looking at reciprocity. And so it's like, look, this is what I want to happen for me next. This is the next set of creation for me, or the next experience I want to have. I understand too that some of what I'm asking for may be counterintuitive to what you want from me. So, how do we come to a happy medium? So, there's compromise that's going to be involved. I think the hard part with Mars and Libra is it does invite some indecisiveness or people pleasing. So, that can really come to a head, because remember, Mars is about drive and motivation, and it's a bit debilitated in the sign of Libra, where it doesn't have the assertion, because Libra wants peace and harmony, where Mars doesn't give a flying fuck what you're doing. It just wants to get things done, right? And it goes head first into things. There's a lot of impulsiveness that happens. Well, when you combine the planet with this sign, there is a little bit more of a hesitation to it, creating that indecisiveness or the people pleasing, because we don't want someone to feel confronted, or we don't want to take the unpopular stance and be ousted, because again, that triggers our sense of survival. Mars is about survival, right? And if we're on the outside, oh my God, I have to fend for myself. However, Mars in Libra wants to be collaborative, wants to have the harmony. So if you can use this time to be charming and socially adept, and allow things to let the intention or the motivation be about creating peace and harmony for everyone involved, this can be an incredibly collaborative time. It can be a time where agreements come into place that, like I say, create a win-win, or just allow you to feel a little more ease. And it's like, okay, we're all part of this organism. We all have a role to play, and how that shows up. And maybe there's some evolution involved, especially with this grand trine to Pluto and the new moon, or full moon, excuse me, that maybe there's some evolution that takes place. We have to think differently, especially with Uranus and Gemini, right? We're altering our perceptions of reality, because reality is what it's our how we perceive things, right? So we may say, okay, what we've been doing before in our relationships and our work, and the creation of life for ourselves that we've done, it may not all serve anymore. Or maybe life is, the external world is creating situations that's calling something different for us. We can't layer on what we used to do to a current situation, because it's not working. These are some of the things that Uranus and Gemini is going to start shaking up, are those patterns, especially those connection patterns, those thought patterns, things like that. And we're disrupting them. We're creating that disruption. And then Pluto in Aquarius is transforming the systems that no longer work. Hopefully all that makes sense. It's a lot to kind of keep up with, but that is a lot what we're working with. And also with Mars in Libra, we are going to be thriving. We're going to be having, for the next couple of months, we're really going to be focusing on this sense of equality and mutual respect, which is very complementary to Pluto in Aquarius, this full moon in Aquarius, which is all about, is what I'm doing, who I'm circling with, who I canoodle with, all of that. Is it of benefit to the greater good. So we're looking at it from the beneficial standpoint towards the collective, right? So there's some of that in there. I think one of the other things, especially with Venus in Cancer and Mars in Libra, both of these signs are they're cardinal signs, Libra and Cancer, which means it's the start of a season. So there's an initiatory kind of feel to it. But Cancer and Libra both can be very passive. So there's this juxtaposition of initiating things, but doing it through maybe a passive aggressive way. And that also can lead towards questioning someone's motivation. Am I being manipulated? Am I being sweet talked into something I don't really want? That's where healthy boundaries are going to come in. And also, you want to be really clear. What is it that I ultimately want? It's a grand experiment. You're going into your kitchen, you're creating a new recipe, you've got all these ingredients that you're looking at. Try it. The worst thing that could happen is that it tastes like shit. Okay. So fine. If it tastes like shit, then you redo it. You take out one ingredient, you add a different one, whatever. You create something new. So again, I say that lightly. Try not to take it so seriously that you're in catastrophe. You're basically catastrophizing everything. So another really powerful point to make is that in this Aquarius full moon, we get to reflect on our connections to others, the groups we belong to, themes around friendship, networking, social justice, all of that is going to come to a head. And so we may feel this strong urge to connect with like-minded people so that we can have new communities, or maybe we just have people surrounding us that can support an idea that we feel is important to us, and having those allies. I think that's also the thing, especially if you're making decisions that you need to feel like you belong to the group. So you find that like-minded support that says, I've got your back, right? And like I mentioned, that grand air trine, Mars, Libra, Uranus, and Gemini, trining Pluto and the moon in Aquarius. So all of this can bring some natural talent out, some opportunities, depending on where it falls in your chart. Those are the themes that are going to be rising up. So you want to think about it from the themes of the air signs. There's innovative communication with Uranus and Gemini, emotionally transformative humanitarianism with Pluto and the moon. The moon remembers what we nurture, what we feel good, if we feel threatened, how we react or respond to it. But with this grand trine, it suggests a natural talent for initiating social change, promoting justice, things that are especially important right now. And this is often done through intelligence and unconventional, maybe emotionally profound ways. So there could be some pretty revolutionary and innovative ideas that come out of this. Groups that are leaning towards more progressive goals, things like that can happen. And there can be a real healing, a collective emotional healing, because there's good communication, because there's emotional or intellectual breakthroughs that come, and information that arrives just in time that says, oh, especially with Mercury retrograde, oh, I didn't perceive what I perceived was not really what was true here, or what served. Now I have a new idea, I have a new way of relating and being. So all of this just to keep in mind in the next week to 2 weeks or so. This is some big energy stirring up. And remember, we have the skills. If you don't have the skills, it's a great time to find a professional or somebody you trust that can help you develop those skills. Because one of the things that is so potent in relationship, the number one thing, the number one success or failure in relationship is communication. So don't be shy about communicating and about having those conversations. I welcome them. I look forward to transformational conversations because I have an opportunity to get to know the audience, and I get to know myself better. I get clarity for what I need. So, all right, you guys, I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share. Come find me at one2listen, jamiedawn.com. And I look forward to connecting with you. Have a wonderful full moon, grand air trine, and Mars and Libra, Venus and Cancer time. And hopefully I'll get another video out to you next week. That is my commitment to you. So, all right, enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, share. Would love for you to pass this along. Have a great week, everyone.